This is the 46th video in the Flow Certified Professional online training series. We're going to look at a little bit about transformation and scaling using Flow. If you really want to understand how to transform and what it's going to take, then you're going to want to look at doing the Flow Certified Coach training and certification. We really go into it there, and the beautiful thing about that is you're going to hear 12 other people talking about their experience applying flow in the companies with which they've worked. And so I'm going to briefly talk about the key tools that we use for transformation and some of the key ideas. But to really dig deep into this and understand the difference between transformation and scaling, you need to do the Flow Certified Coach, FCC level. So the leadership takeaways for this, I'm going to briefly show you how we deliver duplicatable, consistent, remarkable results with Flow. We're going to talk a little bit about scaling Agile, what to look for. SAFe is the main one. There's 5 tips for scaling Agile. And remember, like I said at the beginning here, scaling is not transformation and it is not rollout. And companies really need to start to understand the difference between those. This is how we duplicate remarkable results. With the individuals, we use the 4R model: right truth, right values and attitudes, right actions, and right results. For the team level, for the Agile team facilitators and Scrum Masters, it's the 4D model with define, distill agreement, deliver, and drive, with vision in the middle of all 4 of these lenses. For the individual, we're looking at autonomy, mastery, and purpose as well. Over here for Agile coaching, again, 4D model, but now you need the political and business acumen to deal with program management, line management, process management, business owners if you're using SAFe, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's going to take time for you to get that acumen. I tend to call that battle scars. And being able to get in the cage and do hand-to-hand combat. Most Agilists, that sort of goes against how they feel about the world and how they would like the world to be. But when you get into the product, program, process areas, and then even more so in the organization box, it's the octagon cage match, cage fight, where it's mixed martial artists and people come out battered, bloodied, and bruised. And so we've talked about the infinity curve here in one of the other videos, and we've talked about the AHA curve. AHA curve has to happen in all 4 boxes. 4R has to happen in all 4 boxes. 4D has to happen in all 4 boxes. Cascading vision has to, absolutely must occur in all 4 boxes if you have any hope for your people, for your teams, for your products, programs, and processes, your portfolios, and ultimately the whole organization to enter into a sustainable state of flow. Okay, and we just talked again, even just in the last video, about cascading vision and linking it back. But that's how we do it. It looks simple. Simple's not easy. If it was, everybody would do it. And this has been honed for 25 years in the real world fires of real world projects. I mean, this stuff works. And it's not just Ted and I that were able to do this. Hundreds of other people have been able to duplicate this in their own work, and we're gathering more and more case studies every day of people who have achieved the same or even better results than Ted and I had achieved. And I find that really exciting. These are the Scaled Agile from the 11th and 12th annual State of Agile surveys from version 1. And you'll see that in the 11th, SAFE was up at 28%. Now we're into Scaled Agile scaling methods and approaches. And SAFE was 29% in the 12th. There were 5 tips that they had in the 12th annual survey. They want you to have internal Agile coaches. If you don't have internal Agile coaches, better hire some. And I would even advocate that you better have Agile coaches that are very well trained in flow. You need consistent practices and processes across teams. To an extent, I agree with that, and this is what the respondents were saying. But you still need to give the teams the ability and the flexibility to choose what works for them. If it's Scrum, great. If it's Scrum XP, great. If it's Scrum Hybrid, great. If it's Agile Project Management, great. If it's Kanban, knock yourself out. If it's Scrumban, all right. It needs to match the needs of the team, and ultimately the team should decide who it is that, or which methodology that they're going to use and which methodology suits the way they work best. Okay? So within a range, you try to be as consistent with your practices and processes as possible. And that's the whole idea of flow as a leadership umbrella. Flow is what connects all of these different asynchronous methodologies into a single harmonious result. Implementation of a common tool across teams. No, because if you've got teams using Kanban and other teams using Scrum and other teams using Agile Project Management, good luck. Jira does a pretty good job, okay, of being able to do those. But there are a lot of things that you need to know at the program level that you can then consolidate all of these asynchronous information feeds into a synchronized report. The population of people who have done that successfully and know what they're doing worldwide is a small group of people. Okay? External Agile consultants or trainers. You're going to need help probably from outside your organization to help get the teams and especially your internal coach groups and enterprise coaching groups up to the level that they need to be. And you better be prepared to invest 2 or 3 years in having these kinds of coaches and trainers and mentors with. And without the executives, I've started to demand that executives are within at least a half day's training and that they're part of the process. If they're not part of the process, it's going to fail. And that's not just true for scaling Agile. This is true for right across the board, all Agile. It's not enough for the executives to just pay lip service and talk the talk. They got to walk the talk, and they better make it visible. And it's not enough to throw a copy of our book on your table and say, see, we're doing this. You got to put it up on your walls. You got to start using the techniques and tools that we're talking about so that when your workers or your team members walk into your work area, they go, they're with. Joy Incorporated is a book from the guys who founded Menlo. I would highly recommend that you read that, and that will help because those guys, they just don't talk the talk, they walk the talk, and they actually model the behavior. And if the leadership is not modeling the behavior, don't expect the teams to model behavior that is different than what the executives are modeling. These are the methods and approaches according to the 13th annual, and you'll notice that scaled Agile was up to 30%. So they're coming up on a third. By the way, there is no Spotify model. the guys at I know the guys. And one of them said, well, it's the Spotify, it's not a model. Okay. If they're talking about how you do tribes and squads and guilds and things like that, you can apply those things. I would apply those at the program level, but that technically isn't really a scaling methodology. It's a way to sort your teams, and that's about it. And the guys at Spotify have said over and over again, hey, don't copy us. It works for us. We don't know that it will work for you. You need to try what works for your organization and then do that. Here's the challenges. Organization culture at odds with Agile values, 52%. And this is why you need flow. Because flow has those 9 tiles of vision that mitigate this 52%. Okay? General organizational resistance to change. Flow is a superb change management methodology and framework. It helps not shift just the teams, what they're doing. It shifts the mindset at the same time. Inadequate management support and sponsorship, 44. I'm only going to go through these 3. You can read the rest on your own some other time. As I've been saying, if the managers, senior managers, executives, and C-suite are not in the journey, you're already dead in the water. Please don't waste your time. And I'm dead serious about this. It's not worth it to anybody for you guys to be, talking the talk and then not actually walking the walk. So if you're just going to be over here blah, 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 and talking the talk and using the buzzwords, but you're not actually going to do the hard work that's required to bring yourself up the curve so you can actually lead an agile organization, don't waste people's time. You're just wasting your money. And, everybody wants to be cool and I'm agile and I'm hip and I can do all these things. Well, great. How's it reflecting on your bottom line? And in the end, you're gonna alienate people, and the good people are just gonna go, okay, LinkedIn, okay, next. So, we looked at the 5 tips. We looked at the top 3 reasons that scaled agile fails. And it's really important to know, unless you have a leadership framework like Flow that's proven and has done this over and over again for more than 25 years, you're going to risk wasting your entire investment down at the team and at the scaled levels. So we're almost done. We're coming into the end. Sorry if I was sounding too preachy, but I get passionate about this, and it's really important for the companies to understand that you have a stewardship and a responsibility to spend your budgets well. I take it very seriously that your investments return to you multiple fold of what you put into it. And that's what we've been doing for 25 years, and myself and hundreds of other people who are doing this. So we've talked about how we deliver duplicatable, consistent results with Flow. We talked a little bit about scaling Agile. Remember, scaling's not transformation. We really dive into this at the Flow Certified Coach level. If you're interested in finding out how we do this, then go for the next level. SAFe is the main scaled Agile framework, about 30% of the market. We went through the top 5 tips, which is great for people who work in the industry and who are trainers, coaches, and mentors like myself. And remember, scaling's not transformation or rollout. And, I'm getting calls weekly now about companies that are just up in flames. They've invested heavily into scaled Agile methodologies and it's not working. All it's done is amplified all of the problems by a factor of who knows what. It's just amplified exponentially when you try to scale it and you haven't done the base and the fundamentals correctly. If you're not doing the base and fundamentals correctly, you're going to die. And if they're overemphasizing tools and tool sets and not mindset, you're going to die. So flow is the missing ingredient since it integrates and includes the leadership mindset end to end.